Welcome to the Cherry Picker, the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zack Cherry, and with me as always is...
What is it you fellas usually do? Fire a warning shot, right? Eddie of Edward is Truth.
And today we're talking about Halloween 2.
Yeah, we are.
More of The Night He Came Home. Released October 30th, 1981. That's cutting it real close to the actual Halloween date. Like, they're just hoping like, we'll like continue this on into November. You know, usually there's like maybe like 2 weeks or a month's grace, or even like in H2O's case, or what was it, Resurrection was released like at the beginning of the summer.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, we're just gonna ride this Halloween wave all the way through to fall.
Yeah, that wasn't smart.
Not for Halloween 2. They're like, you got 2 days to see this, and then it's done.
Well, I mean, maybe it was for people like me who really need my horror. I mean, I thrive on horror in October, but I really need it through the holiday seasons, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
all of the holiday cheer. Yeah.
Horror just needs to be released all year round. Yeah. I think at
100%.
least there should at least be 2 major horror releases theatrically a month. I would say
think
that, and
so?
that would say shit. Like, yeah, like I mean, I would be happy if it was like every week there was a new horror movie. I'd rather not like double up. Like, I'd hate if there's like 2 things came out the same day and it's just like, okay, I gotta see this and then like go either like the same day and, you know, do a double feature and go like a few days later. But you know, the more you have, the more crap there is.
Yeah.
So I feel like if there's just 2 a month, you know, you can stagger that like every 2 weeks, like go see a new movie, and
Yeah,
you
that's
know,
nice.
maybe the quality will be up there, but
And every other
no,
week you can watch like an old movie you haven't seen or one of your faves
like
rewatch.
Halloween 2, which I watched last night in
I watched it
preparation.
today. Which cut did you watch?
Well, I watched the normal one. Why did you
The
watch the
normal
TV?
one. I watched both. I watched the theatrical release and the edition that they aired on television just to refresh my memory how batshit it is, because it is. It really is.
I feel like the TV. I don't mean to like throw shade on Rick Rosenthal or anything. I feel like the TV cut is like the Rick Rosenthal cut, even though it's not. But it just like it just feels like, is this the movie that this was gonna be before John Carpenter stepped in and was like, no,
Ah,
we got to do something here.
I mean, sequentially, it's so. I
Yeah.
wonder. I doubt it, because this is the thing. It feels like something that, like, it feels like it was thrown together by someone who is not a creative, like, at all. Like, I'm willing to give Rick Rosenthal like the benefit of the doubt as, you know, a man of the cinema and everything like that, or an artist of the cinema.
Yeah.
But no, because I feel like there were things that were thrown in to try and clarify things, but all it did was create more questions, which we can dive into
Rick
later.
Rosenthal,
Yeah.
fun fact, went on to marry Nancy Stevens, who plays
Yay!
Marion Chambers in this movie. Yeah.
Yay!
What are you doing?
Yay!
Stop that. Um, but yeah, he also directed our everyone's favorite Halloween movie, Resurrection. Yeah.
Poor guy.
So
I
he was actually the first director to do multiple Halloweens, because you know
yeah.
at that point it was like everyone was a one-off, and then Rob Zombie came in and did his twofer, and then we got
Hmm.
the the new trilogy.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I was saying about that.
do you okay? So what's fun about this movie is like, well, this is like I guess more fun about the timelines, or just annoying about the timelines, is that the here's like the first sort of like divergence, because you can either go the Halloween 2 route or you can go the Halloween 2018 route.
Yeah,
Which do you prefer to go?
Halloween 2, hands
Yeah.
down. Not
Was it
even, yeah.
But was it always that, or when 2018 came out, initially before Kills and Ends were you like, actually, I want to go this way? It's like a choose your own adventure book, and be like, okay, we're gonna go 40 years in the future, and Laurie's gonna be a, a nut job shut-in.
I don't think, I mean, Amethyst, let me know if I'm wrong, as our resource or anybody
Yeah.
else who remembers. But anytime we did our rankings, even around the first like drop of Halloween 2018, back in 2018, I don't think it surpassed any of, I don't think it ever surpassed Halloween 2. It surpassed a lot of the other sequels and has only diminished in return screenings.
Yeah.
But initially, when there was kind of like hope on the horizon, I saw all these things being set up and I couldn't wait to see them paid off. And then I saw kills and then I saw ends, and I was just kind of like, wow, a lot of the things I was hoping would be paid off either weren't at all or were paid off in a way where I feel like I was cheated. I want my payment. I'd like me wages, governor, but my wages, if you please. But no, I think Halloween 2 has always been like right behind. Also,
Yeah.
just because you can't surpass that initial. I remember my initial screening with this. Uh, in my teens when I
Mm.
finally learned that there were sequels to this movie, to the original movie, and
Yeah.
I saw it, and the gasp, the loudness in well, as I watched alone in my living room, when I found out that Laurie used to be Michael Myers' sister, or is his sister,
Well, it is, yeah.
is yeah. Well, but when that girl, that Strode girl, when that happened, I went ah! Like I
Well,
lost my shit.
that's so I always, because like I first sort of like discovered Halloween around the time that H2O was released, and it was like that summer, and I, had seen one or two movies. I don't remember what it is. Like I think it was just the Curse of Michael Myers. That was the first one I ever saw.
Mhm.
And all the kids at summer camp were like, yeah, like Jamie Lee Curtis, like Laurie Strode is Michael Myers' sister, and yada yada yada. So when I finally saw the first movie, it's never like I didn't even like consciously think about it because it's never said in the first movie.
Yeah.
But I was just like, oh yeah, they're brother and sister, and that's why he's coming after her. And it didn't occur to me that this wasn't a thing that didn't exist, and it was a revelation that came out in the second movie because I didn't even know about the second movie. I mean, I knew that there was. I think I've told the story where I thought that Halloween 6 was the second movie
Hmm.
because there's no like
Right.
numerical value to it. And
Yeah.
I just like I went to the video store. I'm like, okay, there's this one, and like I don't know how many movies there are. Like, thank God for the internet nowadays. Like kids will
Even
never have this problem.
or for box sets, because then you've got the
Yeah.
chronology laid out for you. You don't need to know the numerical indicator. But I mean, even though it never got released that way, but I think the way they tried initially when it was the working title, because wasn't there a trailer for Halloween 666?
Yeah, that was like before, they kind of fine-tuned things or
Yeah.
fine-tuned. I use that term loosely. Well, you mentioned something about a ranking, and we're not going to do that today for this episode because for anyone who's just tuning in for the first time or has been away for a while, we're kind of doing a Halloween marathon situation here. So we just covered Halloween original last week. We're doing Halloween 2
Hmm.
uh, today, obviously, or whenever you're listening to this. And next month we're gonna do 4, 5, and 6. So we'll wait until the end of the sixth one, and we'll give you our ranking because at that point we'd have covered all
Ooh.
of them
Except the Rob Zombie ones
minus the Rob Zombie ones.
that are
So
verboten on the Zack Cherry.
verboten.
For
Ver,
forbidden. Isn't
ver,
verboten German for forbidden?
Verbode. I don't know.
Verboten.
Yeah,
Verboten.
verboten. But now would be a good time to segue into the Patreon of it
Woo-hoo-hoo.
all. So, if you're new to the podcast, or if you've been here for a while and you've been listening and you've been enjoying, you can give a little bit back, and you can head over to my Patreon at patreon.com/Zach Cherry. And what you can do if you subscribe, you'll be supporting the podcast. You'll be keeping this engine running. Depending on which tier you're at, you can join us as we record these episodes because we do them as a live stream. You'll notice the live stream chat in the middle of the screen, which is a newish feature. We started doing it, I think like 4 months ago. Actually lost track.
Sure.
4 or 5 months ago.
Something like that.
And it's been really fun. It's nice to kind of hang out with everyone and get the feedback as we talk about the movie. So, really fun thing that you can do if you're supporting. And I mean, like, this is, for the price of like a streaming service. If you've been listening to the podcast, it's like your favorite streaming service. And if this is your
Yeah.
favorite podcast, thank you. And if like, are you living under a rock? Are we the best podcast?
For some people, we are, and
And
I
and we love
appreciate it.
you. We love you for that. But another fun little thing that you get to do, depending on which tier you're at, is you can nominate and vote upon the episode that we cover at the end of the month. And this month's a little different because I'm going to be away in Italy, but we're going to do the Patreon choice next week. And we have a winner for what that's going to be.
Ooh.
Now, this was nominated by Silent Saturn, so thank you for the nomination there. But based on 17% of the votes, Urban Legends Final Cut was the Patreon's choice.
We haven't done that one?
We have not done that. We did the first Urban Legend.
Okay.
So next week is going to be Urban Legends Final Cut, the second
fun.
one. And what is interesting about that, because I had to verify this to make sure, the movie is 25 years old this month. Like it came
Oh
out
my
September
God.
2000. So really good timing for that. And it's been a
Yeah.
minute since I've seen it, so looking forward to covering that next
Yeah.
month. I know we talked about it on the old
Yeah. In the
podcast, you
before
and I.
times.
In it, yeah.
Before people could see us.
When we were just these disembodied voices,
Yes, doing commentaries.
shouting into the ether.
We weren't
But
investigative journalists, we were commentors.
not yet. But that's what's going on, and then there's going to be a 2 week break, and then we'll be back with Halloween's 4, 5, and 6. But perks of being a Patreon supporter. There's other things. You can hang out with me on video calls, Zooms, and stuff like that. So check it out. We really appreciate you for all the support and even just being here and being subscribed to us and watching it.
Yeah.
It's very, very helpful, and we love you for it. And I do want to shout out some of my top tier supporters. So thank you to Kyle Beard, Champney, Sam Levy, Ellie Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Daniel Saturn, Tim McKay, Stephanie Starbright, Horseslut95, Traj125, Austin Hall, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, Craig Lynn, Cara Day, Michael Boswell, and DEFCON, who just joined us. So welcome to DEFCON. And thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you all Patreon supporters, but can only name those ones today.
We're British also.
We're
For our
British.
supporters.
And it's not even like a Dr. Loomis British. It's just British. And although speaking of Dr. Loomis,
Yes.
this is my favorite movie for his dialogue. I think he has the best lines, and I mean, like, the tribe. What if the number was butchered? This is a wake.
Oh, what's the one that he says when he like clutches the gun and says I wrote it down and I can't find it, but it heightens my sense of security when he's
It's my sense of security.
yes, he's like loading his gun, and I love that in the first one it's just like it's just a little bit more prim and a little bit more just kind of like, oh, I have a permit for this. It's just like heightens my sense of security. I'm an action star now.
This is the one where he really started to kind of like become unhinged. It's just like he leaned into that, and it's just it just got crazier and crazier until like it peaked at 5, and then 6 was a little bit more mellow, and we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, I mean, just like his speech in the car,
Oh yeah.
like the Druids believed that they could see omens of the future by burning them alive in baskets, or however it goes. Oh,
It's
Brianna
lovely.
is reminding us 6 times. I
Yeah.
shot him in the heart.
And it's like, well,
He's not human, I tell you.
he shot him 6 times in succession, but there was an
Yeah,
initial shot, a primary shot that he
yeah,
doesn't count.
yeah.
If anyone's counting.
I love how the continuity of just like, he was shot out I guess like went out the back,
Hmm, hmm.
and fell into the backyard in the first
Yeah.
movie, and now he's like magically in the front yard,
I wonder
and
if
there's
they just,
grass.
yeah, no, I wonder if they just thought that he wasn't, that the back of the house wouldn't be as recognizable as the front of the house, which they're right. Like I see him fall out of the front of that house, and I'm just kind of like, oh, because that's the same house from the first movie. Got it. Not that it's not like I just saw them standing in the same house from the first movie, and now I'm going to be confused. He fell through the window into a porthole. Now where is he? But there's a lot of lovely, and he has that, of
Yeah.
course, they carried over the incredible Hanna-Barbera landing noise of him just like, when
Well,
it
and this time we see him because it's like the angle from, I guess, like a wide, in front of the house of
yeah.
him like going over the edge, and he's sort of like, you can see him walk up backwards onto a ramp, because I guess this stunt performer, which I guess would have been Dick Warlock, maybe.
Was he the only one who played him like
I
the
don't
whole
know.
film? I
I don't
wonder.
know, but
Because some
like,
people
yeah,
just do
just
falls and stuff like that. I don't know.
yeah, but they had to get a little ramp to.
Hmm. Would you like a premise before we dive in?
Let's get a premise, and I guess know where to watch this thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first they'll tell you what it's about and then where you can watch it if you don't
Yeah.
already own it. But I feel
Yeah.
like doesn't everyone already own this?
It's
But we'll
been
find out.
44
It's been
years.
44 years, behind me. But I'm okay. Uh, while Dr. Loomis hunts for Michael Myers, a traumatized and injured Laurie Strode is rushed to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital with the shape not far behind, and all on that same night of Halloween 2.
Isn't it?
Isn't it? I was trying to, like, and all on the same night of Halloween too. Like, but I
Too,
can't
as
do that.
well.
Yeah, as well. Halloween as well. That's what this should have been called. Oh no, it's not just a sequel. It's Halloween as well from the
Or
first
like
one.
how like Teen Wolf 2, TOO.
TOO, yeah.
Yeah.
I like as well though. And also, okay, numerous releases. There's still in about a week, there's an Amazon exclusive steelbook actually that's coming out.
Mm.
There's a prior steelbook that you can find. I think it's out of print, but you can probably find it on eBay as well. One of my favorite steelbook images. I don't own it, but it's got him on fire, making his way down the hallway, released by
Oh,
Scream
this
Factory.
I've got that one.
It was
This is
nice.
this is probably the movie I own more copies of than anything else. This and like Halloween 3, because Scream Factory has put out so many versions of it, and every time
Uh,
I get them, and I feel like no more. Like the last one that they did, like the 4Ks where they did it with like
sure.
the first 8. I think that was sort of like, okay, enough.
Yeah,
I gotta stop.
because Imprint is putting out that 5 movie box set where
In
you can
that
also
big
get it,
pumpkin, like who
but
needs
that's not
that?
coming. They keep moving the date around. I thought that one was coming at the end of this month, but now they're saying the shipment will be made in December of 2025. So I don't know what's going on with the guys at Imprint, but um,
No idea.
but that's happening. And then you can find it on numerous Blu-ray releases, numerous DVD releases, and if you want to stream it, you could go with a trial subscription, or if you already have an active subscription to Peacock, it's on there, or you can go to your single rental streaming platform of choice and just. But you know what? May as well
Yeah.
get the physical media because you're going to want to watch this more than once, I think.
How many times have you seen Halloween 2?
How many times have I blinked? How many times have I brushed my teeth? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
not as many as that, but I can't count. I've seen
Yeah.
it too many times. How about you?
I always like think of the quote in the original Scream, the Casey Becker, like, I've seen that movie 20 goddamn times.
Right.
I don't know why she's Chucky. I've
Everybody's
seen that
Chucky.
movie 20 goddamn times.
And
And
you should know that Jason didn't show up until the sequel.
but the thing is, it's like people like hear that line now and they're like, that's not even a lot, like
I
with the
mean,
way that like fans consume
yes.
media like again and again. Like I couldn't tell you. Like
But
every
that's why
time I
she's not a
watched
fan. If she only saw it 20 times, then
well,
she,
I mean, if she had gotten it right,
yeah, she would have gotten it right. She would have said 100 times. But seeing it 20 times,
yeah,
it's like at a certain point, she just stopped watching and just kind of thought, oh, I've seen this. And
yeah.
that's why she got it wrong. And that's why she
And the
didn't
movie had
win.
only been out 16 years at that point, but that's besides the point. Yeah, whenever, if I watch the original Halloween, I might want to make it a marathon of one and two because there's just, I feel like the world is so consistent from the first movie to the second that I feel like I'm watching a whole movie. I'm just
The
gonna say
fact,
movie. There's just like intrinsically, well, intrinsically,
Mhm.
it feels like there's the fluidity. I'm just gonna fluidity, consistency. It's one thing,
Yeah.
and I think that's because it's all the same creative team. Obviously they've got Rick Rosenthal directing it this
Mhm.
time, but Dean Cundy's cinematography, like
Mhm.
all of that, just like it really helps to put it together and makes it feel like this, like it's just like an expanding universe of Haddonfield,
Mhm.
which I mean, obviously, there's world building throughout the franchise, but these are the two movies that I watch, and I feel like this could be one. This is this that feels like the same night.
Well, because this is the thing. It even to someone who can watch Halloween 2 and capture the nuances about what looks specifically 80s. Like, I mean, 4 years had ggone by, so what looks specifically early 80s as opposed to
Three.
late 70s. But there's something up to there's something to uh yeah, there's a uniformity that doesn't it doesn't discombobulate me. I don't sit there kind of going like, oh, this was obviously even with her wig, even with yeah, just here and there, just certain choices that they make where I'm just I mean, because literally this is another thing. I mean, this was all shot again in Southern California, not like out in somewhere in Illinois.
Yeah.
So aesthetically, it carries over like the same, aside from just the locations that they reuse, like the fronts of the houses and everything like that. There's something to the fact that I look at the Halloween decorations in Halloween 2, which are, I think, a little bit more omnipresent. Like they're all over that hospital and whatnot. And
Yeah.
I look at them and I'm just kind of like, oh my God, I had that in my classroom, or I had that on our door when we would decorate for
Yeah.
Halloween. And I used to think it was just a kind of universality, but now as an adult, I can kind of accept like, oh no, because they were probably buying from the exact same stores that we were buying
Yeah.
from when I was, coming up in the 80s. So, but,
I
and
think
yeah.
there's also just like from decade to decade, and we've talked about this, like almost like the late 80s into the late 90s, like it's like this passing of a baton that just feels very consistent. Like you can watch a movie from 1992 and it could, very easily look like something from
Yes.
1989. And I feel like the late 70s and early 80s like had that uniformity that you
Hmm.
speak of,
Hmm.
where, like The Shining is a really great example. You look at that and it just like so much of it looks like it's the 70s, but it also looks
Right.
like it could be the 80s.
Right.
So it's just sort of like it envelops the best of both ends
Hmm.
of the spectrum.
It's just like I noticed slight things like the hairdos seem to deflate a little bit, except for Jimmy. But but again, like not in such a way where it's like noticeable, where I'm just kind of like, oh, this is so obviously shot in the. It's like somebody like the way people were able to capture the nuance that was put up in the first season
Yeah.
of Stranger Things and go like, oh my God, that is so specifically like one early year in the 1980s. Like you move forward or backward one year, things are going to be a little different. But again, it's enough. there's enough connective tissue that I actually kind of feel charmed by it. It actually kind of invites me in a little bit more because the world of Halloween 2 is one that I actually existed in, and one that I don't know, that I can feel comfort in a beyond nostalgic way, because the aesthetic, the things that are different only heighten it as far as accessibility for me, and the things that are the same in terms of just like the visual style, the aspect ratio, the 235:1 that they kept going on, and the fact that like everybody seems to be on screen like investing as much in this movie as they did in the first. So there's
Yeah.
that too. Like sometimes with sequels there you can feel like a diminishing return in terms of like maybe somebody's disgruntled because they're not getting paid as much as they did on the first one, or maybe they resent the fact that they had to do a
Yeah.
horror sequel, which weren't really looked on as like these prestigious, like, good, my career is going to keep going. It felt more like
Yeah.
a, yeah, like a cross to bear.
Well, I mean, John Carpenter famously hates this movie.
Right.
I would be interested to hear his ranking. Like, I don't know. Like, this is a
Ooh.
question. Has John Carpenter seen every Halloween movie? I think he has. I think that he
Mm.
probably wouldn't admit to it, or if he has, he's like, yeah, I saw, it, but then I forgot about it. And, like, I don't think that he watches them again and again. He's probably
No.
seeing like each one once because he's talked about Resurrection. He's seen it.
Sure.
He's like, God, piece of shit.
Right.
But I think that he's especially hard on this one because he was involved.
Yeah.
So
And didn't he
it's
get stoned or drunk the night that he
the,
wrote the screenplay in one sitting?
well, I don't think that he wrote it in one sitting, but
Okay.
they were stuck and they're just like, okay, well, let's just because I guess they couldn't figure out why is he even going after her,
Right, right, right.
what's the scenario, and then it's just like he had a six-pack of beer and was just like, oh, they're brother and sister, and that's where that was born from. I don't.
Genius.
So many people despise that twist, that revelation. I don't
Mm,
understand why. I'm fine with it. It's just I get that it kind of like diminishes the mystique of the original, but like
mm.
as a franchise, because like the franchise is Michael going after his bloodline, so it just sort of like you kind of have to take it for what it is at face value.
Right.
Outside of that, that's the thing. It's just like if you just want the original, then just take the original. But everything else, because as I, in my personal opinion, as we've seen with the new movies, you can't continue on a story with Laurie Strode and like going that route if there is no connection, because then it feels very tedious. It feels like there's something missing. But with what they did here, and you already mentioned the moment of just like Marion Chambers revealing to Dr. Loomis, and there's something so creepy about that scene. Like there's this okay, this is my overall takeaway of Halloween 2 because there really is no story. And I was noticing this especially when I was watching it last night. It just like I was trying to like map out the structure as well. Like where does
Hmm.
the first act end? I guess when he gets to the hospital. And then like the third act would start like I guess when the we find out that they're related or whatever, but it's just like nothing's really happening here. Like people are
Hmm.
being killed. We're not really following any one character. Like this feels like very much an ensemble. Like if there's any sort of um through line, really, it's just like Dr. Loomis going around town because we're not really spending a lot of time with Laurie. So this movie mostly it's a vibe to me.
Hmm.
And that's where I kind of really like lean into it and appreciate it because it's not really, I'm not like watching and being like, oh, this like cool discovery is happening, or we're kind of like one scene leads to another and another. Like there's really no narrative flow, but it's just kind of like a hang as what like Quentin Tarantino would call like a hangout movie where you're just
Hmm.
hanging out with these people in a hospital and it's creepy. It's like I think the atmosphere of this movie is probably the best of the franchise. I
Mm.
think so. There's just something about like the quiet, deserted halls of Haddonfield Memorial Hospital that like really lend to that aspect of it that I've always really appreciated.
Well, even before that, like just to go back to what you were talking in terms of like the the lack of things happening, like it as much as it is a mood piece, because I agree with you there, I also feel like the whole brother sister thing of it all, because you're talking to someone who, while I do not watch soap operas per se, like daytime soaps or anything like that, I love when TV series that I watch perpetuate their own life by becoming soap operas, because now I care about that person finding out that secret about that person, and there's a history built up, and now they waited until the end of the season to have the things, and I feel like it opens even in that way. It's kind of like last week on Halloween, you know? Like, and then the way it continues, you don't know what death is, and then we get like to, it seems like an opening credits, like, because that's another thing that I don't know. I'm trying to think how many sequels, horror sequels used to do this. Like Friday the 13th, those first 8 movies all opened in the same way, with the black background and the white credits, you know, with the Henry Manfredini like playing over it.
Harry,
But
yeah.
but with this, because it tweaked it, it took the jack-o'-lantern, so you think you know what you're looking at, and it looks a little different than the original, like the eyes are wider and everything like that, so you're like, oh, okay, so it's different. First time I watched it, and then it started to open as the music swelled and built up and swelled, and it with the wonderful kind of electronic thing going on, I just feel myself going, and then I see the skull inside of the jack-o'-lantern, and I'm just kind of like, oh shit. It's almost like I can hear Loomis saying, "Death has come to your little town, sheriff." You know, it's like it almost feels like it's emphasizing the rotting of the pumpkin against like the rotting of human flesh, and as they decompose, like as the night goes on and everything. I don't know, there's just something so wonderfully elemental about and evocative about that imagery. And then the first thing that we drop into, if you're watching not the TV version, if you're watching the theatrical release, which you should be, is we're back to Michael's POV, except this time it's him wandering in between the houses of Haddonfield, and it just kind of opens up the night and opens up the possibilities. And there's something again about, I can feel like, in terms of like what you're talking about with atmosphere, I can feel the crispness in the air. I can feel like the word promise is a weird way to put it, but for Michael Myers, it's almost like, oh my gosh, so many options. Like, where do I want to go first? I'm going to look through this window. I'm going to steal this knife. Then I'm going to leave. I'm going to go to the next house. I'm going to find this young girl. She's talking shit. I'm going to, surprise her. Like, I don't, there's something about the way it opens that that it continues the line of tension.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like he's pissed off now, and it's just like I gotta satisfy my bloodlust because I couldn't get Lori, and I got shot out the window, so I need something to just like satiate that need. Real quick here, Chattanooga.org, and this was his issue with the brother sister twist. Number one, how does Lori not remember anything about Michael from when she was 2 years old? Number two, how did they seal the family history so fast that Dr. Loomis didn't know? That is a really good point, because I was thinking that too. Like when she's, it's very confusing what she says, because it's just like she was born 2 years before he was committed.
Yeah.
2 years after, like there's like grammatically, it's like, what are you saying? So she was born 2 years before he murdered Judith.
Yeah.
And then it's just like, and then 2 years later, the parents died. But the thing is, it's like Loomis met Michael, like when that happened, like Loomis became integrated into Michael's life, like he became his doctor almost immediately at that point. So he would have access to know the family. He would know, okay, he has a younger sister, etc. and so forth. So I mean, I guess maybe like he knew that the parents died and the little girl got put into the foster system, but like it's still a stretch that would never, like that wouldn't come up, or it was sort of a thing. So that is like the one area where I feel maybe they missed the mark with the
Well, because
whole.
also she's taken in to see him. It looks like in the sanitarium, like the facility that they're keeping him, they look roughly the same age. She doesn't look like 6 or 7 and he looks 11. They look like they're the same height and have the same haircut. And And so at some point, I guess she met him, unless her dream that she's having and her stupor is more like a fever dream. Like he's always kind of been in the back of her mind and she's always had this psychic connection to him. And that's how I mean, it's so weird. That's the thing is like trying to look for the logic in it. You're only going to be like digging basically a grave for yourself cinematically.
Well, it's very Giallo. And
Yeah.
that's something that I love about it because it's like there's this, Giallo films always play with this idea of memory. And,
Hmm.
like when we talk about Deep Red and Suspiria, like the secret iris, turn the blue on, this is Laurie kind of like piecing it together and we're getting those clues. And like nobody, like that's the thing, like Marion tells Loomis that Laurie is Michael's sister, but nobody actually tells Laurie. She figures it out on her own.
Hmm.
And it's yeah, you could look back like was Loomis not at the hospital that day when the Strodes decided that we're gonna bring little Laurie
And we're
to
going to
visit
shut her in a
her.
room with him
Yeah.
alone, with no no law enforcement, no
Yeah.
security, no nobody to protect her, not even a nurse, no noise.
Mhm.
But she and also but also like yeah, you're right. Like would she just have suppressed all of that and suppressed like her mother, her Mrs. Strode telling her like I'm not your mother? Like did she just never really put it together? Did she always
Mhm.
wonder why would my mom say something like that and never dig any deeper? Or
Oh, the parents are I mean, this movie shows us that the parents are awful people.
yeah, where are
Um,
they?
that
Where
where the fuck are they all night?
do you think it was a
Um,
key party? Do you think they dropped keys in a bowl and
It
that they were
sounds
swapping?
like it, maybe. Because I mean, like, we know that Dr. Mixter was at the party and he comes back and he's just like sloshed. I love
Hmm.
that detail of especially when the mom and son are there and well, they're still in earshot. Nurse Jill is because they're like, "Where's Dr. Mixter? He's been at the country club. I think he's drunk." And it's just like, why don't you wait until they're like out of the room before you say that? And then poor Janet, she's just like trying to hand the coffee and
Hmm.
like, hello, here's your coffee. And it's just like, whoa, I gotta stick this needle into her arm.
Yeah.
This is another Giallo thing, like the close-ups, like there's so many needles. I think that's the most
Yes.
disgusting thing. It's like, no, I can handle the needle going into her temple
Right.
um, and the needle in his eye when he's discovered
Right.
Mrs. Bates style.
Right.
But the seeing it like because they show it like three times
Yes.
of
Yeah.
that needle going into like we're gonna draw some blood, now we're gonna give you this thing, and then
Yeah.
we're pulling it out and then we're pushing it in. It's like
Right.
enough of this shit.
See, I love it because I hear my dad
Yeah.
in my head because his response in anything where there was a needle and there was like was always oh yeah, like he had a phobia of needles, and
Hmm.
I have a discomfort, but I like seeing it because I don't know, there's something about it where I'm just like, oh, this doesn't happen anymore. Like it only happens, we only see it when it goes into the temple or the eye or the some place it's
Hmm.
not supposed to. We don't just see somebody administering like medication into someone's arm or extracting blood or anything like that. And so I don't know, there's something just kind of like wonderfully homemade, homespun, kind of twitchy about it that I like because it suggests vulnerability. That's another thing that this movie I think again gets really really well, and it's some of the things that I wouldn't have minded like mixed in from like the TV version or just like the loose footage that they had because they obviously shot a lot more than went into the theatrical release,
Hmm.
but just Dr. Mixter kind of trembling at the bedside of Laurie right after he's performed whatever he needed to on her cracked bone and everything like that. He's just kind of sitting there going like, I mean, I did the best I could. I mean,
And this is
no,
the
I'm gonna
TV
take
cut,
a.
right?
This is in the TV cut where he's
Yeah.
sitting there. He's basically like wringing his hands because he's still drunk,
Hmm.
and he performed this procedure on this teenage girl, and it only heightens something that exists in the theatrical release, but just kind of like the absence of authority figures, which has already kind of been established in the first movie, but this one really puts a point on it. The fact that
Hmm.
like even when adults, as you know, these young people, they're not all teenagers now, but as these
Hmm.
young nurses and orderlies and paramedics are existing in this hospital, the
Yeah.
elders can't help them. I mean, I like that. I even love the fact that they don't call her nurse. It's Mrs. The one who's the head of everything.
Mrs. Elves, yeah, the only
Yeah,
one
Mrs.
who's got her
Elves.
shit together.
Yeah, Gloria Gifford, love that actress, and still working to this day. But I love the fact that I remember finding out a long time ago that she got the role just because she was the best actress at it. Everyone else who had auditioned was like twice her age, and I believe she was the only actress of color who auditioned. And they just thought, but she was just the best, so we figured let's make her an authority figure. And I thought that was such a wonderful kind of like not mistake, but just happenstance for this movie, because the fact that she is kind of among the younger, among the younger people and not an old authority figure, like it makes the fact that she's the one who's fighting the hardest to maintain control the whole evening. And even though I wish we got a kill scene for her, because I think she deserved one, the discovery of her when she's just kind of like laying there lifeless with that tube coming out of her arm with blood, her blood just leaking, just littering the floor to the point where Jimmy slips on it and gets knocked unconscious, which always makes me laugh. But there's something about like seeing someone who's among the peer, like kind of among the peer group or the age bracket of the young people, who's actually doing as good a job as anyone could trying to maintain control in that environment, and watching her just kind of stripped down. I don't know, there's something, again, it intrinsically keys into something that attracted me to horror films in the first place. There was something about the fact that you're not safe. I think that's what I liked about horror films, was that people couldn't keep you safe. If something was going to get you, it was going to get you. And I don't know why that's so reassuring to me as a child, but there's something realistic.
He's
Something
gonna
about
get ya.
Yeah, there's something.
Boogeyman is coming.
I mean, because even in that movie, like the authority figure is basically Laurie taking care of those kids, and
Yeah.
she.
Well, yeah. I mean, that's an interesting point that the character is written to be so much older. I don't mind that was an off-screen kill, because I feel like the discovery of it is just, it lends to the creepiness of the movie as well. Just like that, the lighting of this movie too, and just like how you just sort of first see her through the small window in the door, and just like the white nurse's outfit is the only thing that's illuminated, and you're kind of like go in there and see that, and then all like the paint red
Oh yeah,
like bright red paint looking
fire
blood,
engine blood
all over the floor.
Yeah, very Giallo.
Because that's we know that she's been killed, because that first starts dripping when Laurie's having the dream.
Right.
Like it's all happening at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
to the point where you're just kind of wondering, what does that have to do with anything
yeah,
else?
and like
without wondering, like it doesn't take you out of it. You're just gonna like, oh, that was interesting. Okay, they're gonna show me what that is eventually, and then they do.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's again like very very Giallo.
Yeah.
One thing that I really appreciate that I was noticing when I was watching this last night is the score. I mean, besides the fact that it's sort of like there's just this nuance to what we're already familiar with, and like kind of like more synthy, just kind of like hitting those like higher keys. But the John Carpenter knowing when and when not to use music, I feel like really heightens this, because there's so many moments where there are stings here and there, but there's so many moments where Michael is just like he's present and something is happening, but there's no music that's happening. And like for instance, like in the hot tub room, like, and then Bud is behind the glass,
Yes.
sort of obscured, and we see him get killed
Yes.
through the glass, and we're not hearing any music. All we hear is like the sound of the water.
Yes.
In the hot tub. And it's just like, this is really effective. Like this is where like a good composer would know, like, you don't need music here.
Yeah.
And the music finally comes in when she realizes she's in danger.
Right. Same thing with Laurie finally making her way down the hall, and I can't remember the nurse's name, the little blondie bear, Jill.
Yeah.
When she noticed her, it's just like Laurie, and Laurie just kind of looks at her and just kind of
Laurie?
keeps moving, Laurie, and she turns around and she sees her get pinned up and everything like that, and it's all happening in silence, and the music starts exactly when it's supposed to, which is when he begins stalking Laurie again. I love that.
There is music though, and it's more of like the atmospheric undertones that
Oh, you
that
mean
we
like a
hear.
sting?
Well, there is the sting, but like
Right.
before that, it's sort of like this there's a bit of score of just
Oh,
like 'cause
okay. I
she
just
comes out of the
remember
room, yeah.
I always associate silence with like her
Well,
reaction when she's like
it's
looking, her eyes are
yeah, because
widening
there
and
is
everything.
like it is a very abrupt like sting, and then the dun dun
Yes, right.
dun. By the way, that chase scene is
I love it.
phenomenal. I think that's the
Yeah.
that and we haven't talked about this movie yet, but this is probably my favorite chase scene, other than the one, when we get to that movie,
Okay.
I'll mention. But in this franchise, and it's the thing is like Michael is not imposing as a threat in terms of like he's chasing after you. He is moving slower than ever. Like I
Hmm.
guess like I don't know if the direction that Dick Warlock got was just like be very mechanical and slow, like almost like a robot. But there are scenes, especially at the climax when Loomis and Laurie are running away from Michael. And all I can think is like, you guys don't have to be like this panicked. Like you could probably just like double back and just leave the hospital. Like you can easily like don't the one thing that you don't want to do is like corner yourself in a small operating room where there's only one entrance.
Right.
Uh,
I mean, well, yeah, Laurie makes a lot of bad decisions in this movie, but the thing that I love about
well,
the
that was
chase,
Loomis with it
that's true,
too.
that's
So, yeah.
true. But the thing that I love about that particular, from the moment that like we have like Jill like is skewered calling out, calling after Laurie, and then is skewered in midair with the shoes falling. It's all just terribly effective. And then the chase all the way down to like just following her down, her discovery of Mr. I always want to call him Brackett too, but Garrett, Mr. Garrett,
Mm.
and then and giving herself away, screaming. So like now he knows where to fire. So again, like she's helping him, so he doesn't really have to move fast. And I wonder if this is lost on people who are like half my age who might see this movie for the first time and never have been in an elevator from the 80s. That was probably constructed in the 70s, where that was an issue. Like you never knew when the elevator door was shutting if you put your arm in between it, if it was just going to continue and just trap your arm, if it was going to stop and wait for you to retract your arm and then close like it does in the movie, or if it was going to stop and then it was going to open back up again. I think most elevator doors now open,
Yeah.
when they're blocked by something because there's a sensor and they don't want to get a lawsuit, and for safety. But
Mhm.
I loved just like the first time I saw it, and for several times after, I remember I'd always kind of forget. I always just got tense watching his hand make its way into the elevator, watching the door close, and there's just like a second or two where you wonder like, is it going to open and he's going to have free reign of her, or no, he pulls his hand back and it closes because it's that kind of elevator. Thank God.
Mhm.
Like that's real tension, period based
Yeah.
tension. But I also in terms of like things like carrying over, there's just like little details that I love. Like I love the fact that like throughout this movie, we keep seeing it television, and everybody's watching the Dr. Demento marathon that was going on in
Mhm.
Lindsay Wallace's house in the first
Yeah.
movie. I fucking adore that. And
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
yes.
Stop it. You're ignorant.
You're ignorant. I don't know why I made her English. Everybody's English.
Look, here comes one of them now. I'll hear ya. Chucky. Oh,
But
I've decided that the designated Chucky for this movie, just because it's like fun to
oh
have
yes.
a which character is going to be, just imagine this the Chucky voice.
Yeah.
Marianne, because there's so many like great lines. Like I can just imagine like in the car, like Dr. Loomis, would you shut the fuck up already? I got something really important to tell you. Or like when she's like on the radio, it's like, this is Charles Lee Ray at the clinic. Somebody better get your ass down here. I'm dealing with Michael Myers.
Oh, it's you. I didn't recognize you. Sam Hain.
Tiffany wouldn't mispronounce it though. She would know it's Samhain. But like that's a thing that they get wrong, but I don't care. I love hearing it just go Samhain. Because also just in terms of like Loomis, there's another thing, just like his you talked about his unhingedness. I love the fact that like we are not 20 minutes, I think, into the movie before he is on the street believing he's seeing Michael Myers, maybe, like walking on the street, even though he's carrying a trick-or-treat bag. Like, why would Michael Myers be doing that? Maybe to like, hide his knife. I don't know. But he just like, he's like, Brackett asks him, is that him? He's like, I don't know. And he immediately brandishes a gun and starts pointing it at this stranger who's unconfirmed as the person that they're pursuing. And literally you've got Brackett and who's the other cop who's with him? But they're like wrestling.
Well, it's just Brackett at that point.
Okay, it's just Brackett at the point trying to keep him from...
The other cop comes up, he's the one that hits Ben Tramer.
Right. So, but he's like literally like pointing his hand to the sky so he can't hit anybody. And then poor Ben Tramer, as we now know, like, you know, ends up like meeting his end famously. And I almost kind of wish he would have walked a little drunker. That's an acting note I would have had for the actor, but maybe that would give it away. But I mean, we all, that's the thing, we all know as the audience, that's not blonde. Michael Myers. Yeah, he was blonde. Yeah. I mean, granted, it'll come up again later. He'll be blonde and pink, but not in this movie.
Kramer in Halloween 4.
Yeah, right. Maybe that's who that was.
I mean, that moment is just insane. For, like everything that's happening in that scene. Just huge fireball. I love the fact that like the body like collapses forward onto the hood of the cop car, and then the next time we see him, he's like
full up,
standing up straight.
Yeah.
But then this poor cop who hit the guy, he's like, you know, shaken from this whole thing, and the introduction of Deputy Gary Hunt, who just comes in, is just like, I'm not even gonna pay attention to the fact that there's like this van that's exploded and someone is pinned against it and dead, and just like a crispy critter over here. But he's just like, it's just like, no, I gotta tell Lee.
Yeah.
They found 3 bodies.
3 kids.
Across the 3 kids. Yeah. One of them was Annie.
Yeah. Do you know in the TV cut they do a different take? It's the same. Yeah, he's kind of like, there were 3 kids. Lee, where was Annie? Like, it's faster. I think they did it just for time. but he just was Annie. He's like full throat, like screaming about it. I would laugh my ass off and rewound it just to see that moment again.
My favorite thing inclusion in the TV cut is during the Karen murder scene when he's standing behind her and like, you know, pretending to be butter or whatever, and she's still like licking his fingers and whatnot. And I think when she first turns around and looks at him, he's kind of got this like derpy side eye thing. Like he's not looking at her, he's like looking over in the corner.
They put, I wonder if one of the notes from the networks was there's not enough Michael Myers in this movie, so they intercut him in a bunch of moments where he does not belong. There's the moment at the Elrods where she's sitting there going like, Harold, you want, what did she ask him on his...
You want some mayonnaise on your sandwich?
Ask Chucky.
How about mustard?
But she's sitting there asking him what he wants on his sandwich. And the moment that she comes back after she watches the news report about the teens being dead and everything like that, she comes back, she touches the blood, she raises her hand, she doesn't scream. They cut away to a shot of Michael. I think it might be the same shot of him in the hot tub, what do they call the therapy room or whatever. It's just a real close up, and then it's just her screaming as if she's seeing him, I guess, in a window.
It's so weird. And then there's no Alice. She's completely excised.
She comes out and she talks to them, and she gets back on the phone and says our favorite line that he probably started. She picks on him all the time, so he probably decided to start beating her. But then Michael just moves out of the frame and moves on, and Alice never gets her comeuppance for being a busybody and thinking that women deserve to be beat. But anyway,
the fun fact is that the voice on the phone that she's talking to is actually Nancy Loomis,
right?
Annie Brackett. So she's talking about herself. She's like, some girl got killed in Haddonfield, and it's
right.
like, yeah, me.
Yeah, me.
Also, because she
a
has
place to do that.
yeah, because she has a physical appearance in the movie as well when she's discovered, and I love that she can't keep her eyes like shut. Like it just like they keep moving, and it's like she's not.
Well, she's probably sitting there thinking like, well, it'll never be in HD. They'll never be able to see that.
Oh, when I first saw this on like VHS, like you could tell.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I love how we might have talked about this in the Halloween Kills pod.
Yeah.
Because Halloween 2, for all intents and purposes, was expunged from the record for that timeline, but they still had a flashback to lead
to this
discovered
movie,
like finding the body. Yeah.
And to the eyes being closed and everything. I'm like, hey, that's not canon, but
which was apparently Lindsay's flashback.
Apparently, who's just as pointless in that movie as she. Anyway, but another thing is in terms of just like the continuity, there was another thing that I like, because there's a few things that they harken back to, and I know, again, I'm old enough to remember that, like, kind of like the rhetoric that was surrounding this movie initially, like upon its release, was a lot of people were like, oh, it's not as good as the first one, and in fact it's a little too much like the first one, which is what kind of prompted them to go in the direction of like Season of the Witch and everything like that. I know what it is to sit through a movie and feel like, okay, we get it. Could you just do one original thing? I don't get that with this movie. I actually kind of feel like I like the little common threads, like the fact that the kid in the cowboy hat who's playing the radio and who basically reveals Laurie Strode's whereabouts to Michael Myers unbeknownst to him while he's crossing the street, echoes was it Richie, the name of the kid I chose last week for the cherry picker?
Yeah.
He's the Richie of this movie, because he full on runs into Michael Myers and pays no consequence for it. He even regards him less than Richie does, because I don't think he even makes eye contact with him, but he just continues on, and Michael goes in pursuit of something that he cares about more.
So that scene was part of like reshoots that John Carpenter did, because initially, so how Michael gets to the hospital,
right? And
this has been talked about, and there's actually like part of this subplot was filmed because there was a lot more to do with like the news people.
Yeah.
So the news anchor Robert Mundy, there's a scene where he goes to the hospital with the crew, and they're there, and I guess Mrs. Alves or whatever's like tells them to get the fuck out.
Right.
But there is this whole scene, remember, like the blonde woman who's talking to Dana Carvey, which is just like, go like talk to some kids. If you can't get it, they need permission from their parents. If you can't get permission, get a statement anyway, yada, yada, yada. And she's not, like, at the very end of the movie, like Dana Carvey's there and all the people. She's not.
No.
So she was killed by Michael. I guess it's not canon. It doesn't count. But there was a whole thing that was written. It wasn't filmed, where she's driving to the hospital, and Michael, I guess, like, hid in her trunk or whatever, and she got a flat tire along the way, so she like got out to change it, and he kills her. So that's why she doesn't show up in any part like after that. And I guess that they're like, okay, well, we can't do that. We gotta figure out a cleaner way to get him to the hospital. So they did this whole scene in that like Haddonfield town square or whatever, where he bumps into the kid, and that's how he figures out that Laurie's at the hospital, because the radio is talking about that. And they added in this whole thing with Karen and this completely pointless character named Darcy,
right?
Who, like, that's why this scene feels like Darcy is not a character in the movie other than this, because it's like, but you promised you'd take me home. So that's like establishing why Karen was late. But initially Karen just shows up at the hospital and is like, you're late. Um, I love the actress who plays Karen when she like gets out of the car, she does this thing that I always notice where she sort of like partially opens the door and she sort of like hesitates for a minute and then she's like pushes it forward. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
It's like did you forget how to open a car door?
I know. I mean, sometimes you become conscious of things as an actor that you don't even think about in life, and you don't think, okay, I should just do it the way I do it in life. Sometimes you're just like, how do I open a door
Yeah.
or close a door? But
Just
yeah.
Oh, I just wanted, before we miss it, just some fun trivia. So
Oh yeah.
Amethyst is saying that Darcy was played by Wendy from Prom Night.
Ooh,
Yeah, I did not. I
yeah.
mean, maybe I knew that. I
I
don't, but
didn't
I
catch
can see it.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Uh,
Amethyst.
and I did know this, but Craig is saying the kid that Michael bumps, so Dick Warlock bumps into is his son in real life. So Dick Warlock's son is the
Oh,
radio kid.
fun.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because there's a Chuck Warlock in this credited, isn't there? Is it Chuck?
Yeah. There's a lot of Warlocks.
Yeah. Witches and warlocks.
Yeah.
Warlocks in this movie, witches in the next one, but
Yeah.
not so much. But what was I gonna say? Oh, something about the continuity again. Like there was another thing that carried over that I was really grateful for. That I have been grateful for a long time. Anytime a Halloween movie kind of like catches on to this and decides to maybe develop it in a different way. Because for me, the seed was planted with Michael donning the sheet with Linda, when standing in for
Mhm.
Bob with the glasses and everything, and just kind of standing there and just letting her do all the talking, watching her become uncomfortable, and then finally when she turns her back on him, that's it. In this one, it's with Karen, and it's in the Hatab, and I just like the fact that again, like leaning on everything that you planted with the silence and everything like that, there's no reason for her to suspect that anything has happened because there's no evident audible struggle that she can hear.
Mhm.
So then when he moves into a little bit closer to the foreground where she is and just puts a hand on her. I love the fact that like this is a character who we know likes masks, but also likes trying on identities every now and then because again, there's a weird, and I think we touched on this in the first discussion of the first movie, this weird line or equivalency that I think Michael Myers equates death with sex somehow. And he can't have one without the other. And every now and then I think he gets curious, not about having sex himself, but just about what keeps us doing it. So if he just like moves into a position just to kind of like cross a social boundary with somebody who is consenting that they think to their partner, and then all of a sudden like just kind of like has the last straw. And with him, I think it was her getting too close, sucking on his fingers and everything like that. It was like, oh, I don't like that, and I'm dangerous, and why are you ew, and don't put my fingers in your mouth, you're disgusting. And then when the final reveal comes, when she looks up, like it's like a surprise, and then he
Yeah.
goes to doing what it is that he does the best. The only thing I didn't listen close enough this particular screening to notice if there was, because her screaming is loud and the
Mhm.
score is incredible and the water is running, so I can't hear if there's breathing. But that's one thing that I also always attributed to his kills in the first movie, particularly like when we can
Mhm.
really hear him, like with Annie or with Linda. It's just that, that kind of almost quasi-sexual, could be sexual question mark,
Yeah.
heaving, because it's more than just what's the word I'm looking for? Like energy being,
Yeah. I don't,
expended.
yeah, I don't notice, and I was thinking about that. I didn't notice any breathing
Yeah, so that would
in
have been nice.
this film. It's just like he was very mechanical, like I said, like very much like a
Right,
robot.
right.
Um, a completely different interpretation of the character,
Yeah,
which I like. I think that there's a creepiness about that. I do prefer Michael in the original,
yeah.
but I like this take on him for what it is.
I do know that Dick Warlock went on record to say that he studied the first film very hard to
Mhm.
try and achieve the same grace, kind of like almost like effortless just drift
Yeah.
that he had of the first movie. And um, I think it was John Mayer said a long time ago, like he achieves his own style in his failure to emulate his heroes. And I feel like Dick Warlock kind of stumbled into his own interpretation, trying to emulate his predecessor. And I like that because I agree with you. There's something about that I feel very close to and very reassured by when I watch his robotic, like making his way down the stairs, and even his head tilt is very much his own. It doesn't glide the same way. I can't. What's the name of the original actor who played Michael in the first movie?
Nick Castle.
Nick Castle, thank you.
Yeah.
Because Nick had this incredible, just again, that drift that he had, this amazing ability to maintain tension with ease.
Like the Nomi Malone, just soaring out of frame.
100%.
Well, I mean, Dick Warlock is also, I think he's the shortest actor to have played The Shape.
With the roundest head, yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. It's the same mask. It just like
Yes.
it fits him much differently. It also looks aged because I
Right.
mean, there's so many different stories. Like I guess the one about it being under Deborah Hill's bed for 3 years, and she's chain smoker, and it like had this yellowing effect is not true. It's just the paint had worn off. So there's different stories about how the mask came to look like the way that it did. But I think for the longest time, Dick Warlock had the mask. I think he sold it to a private collector.
Okay.
And that person still has it to this day. But
That's good. That was my question.
yeah, just because we're talking about it, the Karen death scene, which is I mean I think it's the best one in this movie.
I do too.
Taken from Deep Red.
Mm-hmm.
I mean the exact same scene.
But it
And
works.
I mean like I think that it's like I love that scene in Deep Red. I think that it's done very effectively here as well. But so much of that, even here, like like all that's missing is Michael wearing like a leather gloved hand when he's like turning the nozzle.
Right.
When we see it to like turn the heat up.
Yeah.
Apparently the water was really cold for the actors
Oh, wow.
when they
But see,
filmed it.
well, that's lovely. But also there's because I mean another reason to scream. But but I love because I mean again, there's something incredibly visceral. I remember again this being part of the discussion around the movie when people would criticize Halloween 2, talking about kind of like the near bloodlessness and the lack of violence they would attribute to the first movie, and how this one started to kind of like just copy what other movies that were in their eyes lesser than Halloween and copying it nonetheless. This one was now copying its successors. And I disagree because I think it's still effective, and again, like you said, it's memorable. I think it's incredibly acted. I like the way it's shot. I like the fact that he has an ungloved hand going into the same temperature water as her face, yet he doesn't flinch and doesn't have a reaction to it because it kind of removes him from the physical, from our human experience. And it does kind of like solidify, even though he's ranting and raving, it solidifies Loomis's argument that this isn't a man. This is like an evil force that will damage its own mortal coil in order to do the damage that it's doing. And that's something that I absolutely adore. Again,
Yeah,
just,
well, I
it's a
mean,
feature.
he's walking through fire.
Yes!
At the end of the day. Like he's so laser focused on I just got to get her. I just got to get her.
And prior to that, even just like the bullets into the eyes.
Walking through the glass.
Yes, he is beyond the elements. He has just become like even beyond like the shark from Jaws. He is the unstoppable force.
It's the thing that Laurie says in the first movie in the class. Like Costings wrote that fate was like elements or like air, fire, and water, and so he's
and
he
thusly
doesn't
whatever
feel
it's
them.
whatever it's rooted in, it's inescapable too.
You could drown Michael, like he could be tied to a rock and thrown to the bottom of Camp Crystal. Like, has Michael died by drowning yet? Has he died by every element? Like, he's died by fire.
Died by fire. Has he died by water? How can we use that?
He's died by earth. He was buried alive, and
yes,
in Halloween 4.
And has he died by air?
I
Trick or
mean,
treat, motherfucker. He went up in flames again, but he survived.
the axe in H2O might have created a gust of.
I mean, he fell in the water at the end of 4, so that's water.
Well, no, that was the beginning of 5.
That's true. Well, it was revealed that it was water in 5.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there's water. At least it's in there. And then at the end of 6, magic. Is that air? Does it count? Depends on which cut of 6 you're watching too.
How did he go? Oh, at the end of 2018, he was burned again. He dies by fire a lot.
A lot.
What was at the end of Kills? Oh, he didn't die. He got away.
He got away. He died by hate crime. If you count that as a death.
What was the Rob Zombie ones? How did he die?
Bullet in the head at the end of the first one, and at the end of the second one, more bullets by firing squad that took him out.
Okay.
With the helicopter. But there was like a helicopter though over the little hut that he was staying in, so that's air. He got taken out by air.
I don't think that we can say that he's died by air. Yeah.
He should have fallen. He should have dropped.
I guess maybe the first movie.
Oh, that's air. He was airborne.
No, we need like
because he hit the earth. It wasn't.
To complete the whole elemental chain. Yeah. We need the next Halloween movie. There needs to be like on an airfield or something, and there needs to be like a propeller jet plane that like starts
just
blowing, and then he gets sucked into it or something.
Or it's so hard like that it blows his skin off of his face, and his guts blow into the wind. Yeah, you make that movie, Zach.
Yeah, we need the death by air.
Also because there's something about there was something you mentioned about Laurie that just made me also want to mention another thing that that this movie gets criticized for a lot is that we've talked about it. You've mentioned like her being basically kind of sidelined and comatose for like near comatose for much of this movie, which she is like. I mean, but there are still little gifts for me with her even before and after the chase, which is probably when she's at her most effective. I mean, granted, she does give us the blood tears dripping from the mask, so there's that. But she does it literally. She has to be pinned against a wall and told, "Yes, you're going to be the final girl. Look, the man who saved you from the first movie is out of the running." Yeah, right, 100%. To go like just above the eyes too, because you can watch it dripping over his lids. It's wonderful. But and that brings me to another point later. But with Laurie anyway, I love that the movie basically gives her two of the most profound questions of the movie and basically like of the franchise thus far. Because I don't remember there being a terrible amount of insightful inquiries in the first movie. I love that she asks, and the movie answers it in a way that might dissatisfy some people, but she asks, "Why me?" Which I think was in the back of everyone's head in the first movie. But so whether you like the answer or not, at least it is a profound question for her to just kind of come to a point and just like, the fuck? And then the second question for me was just like, why won't he die? It's after Loomis takes him down.
Get away from him!
5 times. Yeah. Yes. And I hear he's going on about shooting him 6 times when he shot him 7, and that didn't take him out.
No, he's not. Look.
No, he's not. Look, he's still breathing. And then it's like, but then also he shoots him 5 times and thinks that's going to do something, but he doesn't.
Jesus,
really
don't you see
he's still breathing? Stay away from him. Exactly. And then, but after that, she's looking at him and she asks Loomis. They're both looking at him, and she just asks while they're looking down on his body, "Why won't he die?" And I'm like, that's a good question. Why? Like, is he mortal?
They
like
need
you're going on about it.
Study him, yeah.
Chain
him up in a research
Loomis
lab.
Tried.
Just,
He needed like the Frankenstein monster treatment, where you just chain him in a tower and just because I think he deserves less grace than Frankenstein's monster did. But also, like, there's something. Going back to Laurie though, like being like drug induced and near catatonic at one point, depending on which cut you see. Like in the original theatrical release, I don't understand. Is she really out and then she just comes to and is like hustling through the hallway, because the way it's edited there makes it almost seem like she was faking, so they would rush out of the room, leave her alone, question mark, and then she could dash out and no one would be the wiser as to her whereabouts, I guess, because she knows that nobody's going to come to her aid.
There's no logical way that, like, when would she have left the room? Because we see, like, Jimmy leaves, and then there are other patients in this hospital apparently, and someone's like
Apparently.
buzzing, and
Those
Jill
babies.
leaves. There's the babies, yeah, and they all survived because we would have heard about it.
Right. Oh my God, entire nursery goes up in flames. Oh my God, what a massacre. Oh my God.
We see Jill walk out, and Michael is like his POV, and then he kind of he looks away from the door for a second to just follow her, and then he looks back, and it's like, I guess Laurie darted out of there in that quick second that he looked away from the door.
So she was possuming, but really, really quick once everybody was out of shot. Because did she know he was in the room? That's another. I just, this is, again, I'm not the logic police. I'm not saying like, these are things that bother me. It's just things that occur to me when I watch the movie, because it does, it itself, while it's Michael Myers does not drift. The movie itself drifts quite a bit. So there are moments for your mind to just kind of wander and wonder about things, you know?
It's a Giallo. It's dream logic, you know. You don't have to be following everything 100%.
No, like, I mean, it doesn't make much sense why Marion would be sent to gather Loomis of all the people when all she was supposed to do.
He found him first, or whatever the excuse.
I guess.
Why did he send you?
But they sent her with a marshal who sounds like a little bit more qualified, but I guess they needed somebody he was familiar with so he could trust her. Again, more questions. I don't need them answered, but they do occur to me when I watch a movie. And then I just kind of go, but I love seeing her, so that's all I need.
The marshal's silent expressions, well, like Loomis is pontificating.
Oh, yeah.
In the car, he's just like, jeez, get a load of this guy.
Well, even Marion's expressions, I think she's the epitomal waiting to speak instead of listening when he's,
which is why the Chucky version would just be like, we don't got time for this shit.
Because they're literally sitting there and he's going on about like, that's the Lord of the dead, and in their days they would make sacrifice, and she's sitting there, she's already told him she has something to tell him, and she's just kind of sitting there just looking, just kind of like,
please, get over yourself.
Yeah, like, he'll be done eventually. I remember I've been in a car with this guy before. You just kind of need to let him run
Your
until he runs out of...
compassion is overwhelming, doctor.
Exactly. Oh my God, she should have said that again. That would have been hilarious.
I love the when Loomis is, when they're at the Myers house.
Yeah.
And he's telling Hunt about the like he was the ideal patient.
Right.
Like the staff wasn't prepared, and then Hunt was like, did you know? Yeah, I knew.
Can I also just say, like, purely, I don't know if it's aesthetically, I guess sonically, there's something about hearing Donald Pleasance, because everything else he says is very clipped and very up here. Hearing him say yeah instead of yes, he does it in both movies. We're just kind of like, just, yeah, I knew. Or it seems to me you're just plain scared. Yeah, I am. I'm just like, oh, he's like people. He's just like us.
He's acclimating to the American.
Can we also, okay, there's also a moment that drove me batty the first time I saw it and still drives me batty to this day. And now it helps a little knowing that Jamie Lee Curtis was also driven equally batty by it. And it's when she's on the floor, she sees headlights, and it's Loomis and it's Marion. They're all coming to her rescue, and she's just going with her wiggly leg, and and just as they're about to cross the threshold, she goes, "Help!" And then once they're behind the closed doors of the entryway, which why would you do that? But would you?
How was the door locked?
Exactly. And then she just goes, "Help me!" once they're out of earshot and they can't even hear through the glass, which sounds very unhospital. But I remember because she took issue with with her own two drops of the knife in the first movie, and in this, it was the not being able to scream bloody murder when she finally sees
Yeah.
someone who can help her, and her refusing the gun
I
when
don't think
Donald
that I've
Pleasance offers it to
ever
her.
heard Jamie Lee Curtis really talk about this movie, like other than
Hmm.
acknowledging that she's was in it, but
Yeah,
I've never, maybe I just haven't looked hard enough to just find like interviews of her extensively
right.
talking about Halloween 2.
There was an instance where, yeah, she I
Yeah,
remember her addressing. I don't even remember if it was the old Halloween 25th anniversary thing. Because I don't
yeah,
think it was specifically like a featurette devoted to this movie. I think it was just by and large her talking about her grievances along the
yeah.
path, but then what she's grateful for as
I
well.
heard there was a the Fog when Scream Factory put that out. There was a special feature,
Mm.
and she did a thing on there, and she was kind of critical of it. She's like,
Yes.
I like that I got to work with my mother. Not a
Yeah.
big fan of the movie.
No.
Like she just flat out said it.
She didn't like the supernatural aspect. She thought, dead pirates, or not pirates,
Yeah.
but whatever they are. Well, they always get called dead
But
pirates though somehow.
I
But
like but
like,
Jamie Lee Curtis, like she was very like I think she's very cynical about her career at this time.
yeah.
But it's a double-edged sword because she was appreciative of the fact that like she was getting these roles
Oh
in all
yeah.
these horror movies
Hmm.
because nobody else was hiring her for anything.
Uh-huh.
So she was doing all these, but she was also like on one hand, like, okay, I'm getting paid, I'm a working actress. But on the other
Hmm.
hand, like I don't want to be pigeonholed in
Yeah.
this genre. I don't want to be a scream queen. And
Hmm.
then she
Hmm.
got Trading Places or whatever. So I think
Hmm.
that she's just like, fuck these movies. Like I like the money, but I don't like the movies. So, looking back on it now, like I could see that because she does not like horror, and she's been very vocal about that.
Oh, 100%. And I don't think
Yeah.
that's shifted at all over the years. You can watch an interview with her at any point in her
Yeah.
career, and I think she would say that. But ironically enough, it does kind of like, again, like hug my heart at the end of the movie to see one of the things that's not, it's no longer engulfed in flames, the hospital. It is, at the end of the movie, engulfed in fog. And just to watch her ambulance drive off into the fog, I'm like, oh no, I want to watch the fog again, because I do like that movie.
Yeah.
But
Can't I
oh,
ride up front
because
with you?
that's that's another thing though.
Mhm.
While I was watching the end this time around, I heard for the first time, maybe because of my 4K and because the sound is just so like pumped up, but I heard
Mhm.
like, yeah, the paramedic or orderly or whatever, like, I guess he's a paramedic because he drives in the ambulance, but he's like moving her in, and she asks, can I ride in the front? He was like, no, you have to go up there. That's it, right up there. The first time I saw it today, the theatrical release, I saw the newscaster, not the blonde lady, but the guy. I can't remember his name right now, but he's like
Oh,
talking into
Robert
his mic.
Mundy. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's talking and nothing's coming out of his mouth. For a second, I thought he was just kind of like narrating what she was doing,
Well,
just kind of going
he
like,
is
"That's
though.
it,
He's
one
just like
step up into the car."
now she's getting into the
I
ambulance and
couldn't
like he
decipher
is.
who
He's
was
giving a
saying
play by
what though.
play.
Yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
But I thought he was also coaching her from. It's kind of like, that's it, one step after the other. There you're, and I'm
Yeah.
like, you condescending prick, get away from her. And and then I watched the TV cut, and I got to see the ending. That's another thing. It's so shoddily edited when you watch it. I would recommend everybody
Mm.
watch the TV cut if you've never seen it, because it is
You
a,
have to at least once in your lifetime. Yeah.
yeah, but because also,
It's an experiment
yeah.
in terrible.
Also, it's in SD because it's released on DVD only, I think, and you get even the
Yeah, it's a
SD four
DVD.
by three framing like it would be on the television screens of the time, which I
Yeah.
also kind of like. I mean, I love seeing it in 235 one aspect ratio. It's basically like a
Yeah.
two four
Wh-
threes next to
Well, I
each
mean, just
other.
like speaking of the whole like Jimmy's trajectory
Yes,
of the movie in the TV cut, because as we know, theatrically, he discovers Mrs. Alves
yes,
and he slips on the blood and is knocked
and
out
that's
that
it.
way. So
Mhm.
in the I think in the TV cut, Mrs. Alves is never discovered. Or she is, I don't remember, like he doesn't slip on the blood or whatever.
I
But
can't
what is
remember.
happening in the TV cut is that Michael is going after Loomis and Laurie at the end, like they're running through
Uh,
the hospital, and Jimmy is still looking for someone because he's gone off and he's like, I gotta find someone.
right.
So he's in another part of the hospital, and he's just sort of like, is someone here? Is someone here? And he's walking down the hall, and when the explosion goes off, that's when he slips. So it cuts to the shot of him slipping and hitting his head on the floor.
Hmm.
So he never makes it out to the car, or alerts Michael of their location by falling on the horn.
Sure.
But he does show up in the ambulance at the end,
Yeah.
and because I guess
Just
in like the theatrical version, like, is he dead? Did he like succumb to a concussion or whatever? But like in the television cut, it's like the famous scene of Laurie sitting there, and we see the start of that in
yes.
the ending proper, but
Hmm.
then this sheet comes up and
Just
she starts
whoa.
freaking out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it slips off, and it's Jimmy, and he's got like a bandage on his head or
Like you do in
whatever.
a soap
And
opera
he
when you have amnesia.
he
Yeah.
says something. I don't
Right.
remember what he says.
It's like
But
what,
she
something like what
says,
like what's wrong
Jim
or what happened? Yeah.
Jimmy, we
Yeah.
made it. We made it, Jimmy.
And I could swear I've seen the ending on its own, and I think that was its own edit on an old collector's edition that had the original art of like the pumpkin skull, poster. And
Oh, I
I
love that
remember
artwork.
that was a special feature on that particular release. Oh wait, am I misremembering? No, that one it was like the 30th anniversary edition. I think it was Michael's Mask actually. I'm misremembering. It was Michael's Mask with like some weird looking autumnal, maybe blood slivers or something around it. It was, yeah, it was hard to decipher. But I do remember on it, it had that documentary, something like
Terror in the
Terror in the
Aisles.
Isles. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
that's hosted by Donald Pleasance and Nancy Allen. But it also had that original ending, I believe, and I think it was edited, like re-edited to look better, and even the sound effects added were great. Because if you watch the TV version of that ending, it is so shoddily put together. There's no sound effect. There's nothing. You just feel like you're watching dry footage, like raw footage. He just pops up. She
Hmm.
goes, and I think it's the same take even of her saying the line. She just goes,
Yeah.
Jimmy, we made it. And then it cuts to his response or whatever. And then it cuts back to her. And she goes, we made it. Exactly the same way. And I used to remember, I thought she said it differently, like slightly differently. Both I'm like, I'm emphasizing it more so the second time just to plead with you. Now, let you know we made it. Let's celebrate kind of thing. And in the TV cut, she just kind of goes, we made it. We made it. And I'm like, oh boy. But I do prefer not knowing that he survived as per usual. I like it when we don't
Yeah.
get a final duo. I like a final girl, but I also like the fact that it ends so bleakly in the theatrical cut. The fact that it's just kind of her face, lifeless, just staring out, maybe the back window of the
Yeah.
ambulance. Maybe she's just staring out into space, just kind of recalibrating her brain, trying to make some
Yeah.
sense, remind herself who she is. And she's just going to be left with that forever. And then the immediate cut just back to the burning face of Michael
And
Myers.
then the Mr. Sandman,
And
yeah.
then the Mr.
And I think
Sandman.
it's yeah, and it really goes to speak to the idea that less is more. Like
Yeah.
you can convey so much more in just a look
Yeah.
than you can with like this whole bit of just like, yeah, we like, of course you made it. But I mean, like, it wasn't the thing is like, we made it, but like, did either of you really do all that much? I mean, granted, she did shoot him in the eyes or just above
Yes.
them, but like the gun was placed in her hand, and she
Yeah.
like really had to be coaxed,
Yes.
how am I saying it?
Coerced. Coax is a
Coax,
coax is a
coaxed,
word. Yeah.
coaxed into into using. I'm like, what is going on with the English language of me today? Um,
Same.
but yeah, it's the idea like final girl by default, which was the kind of we talked about this last week with the original in a sense that like she's she does the work when she's like protecting the kids, but like she's not really very efficient at defeating Michael.
Hmm.
And we won't really see that again until H2O. when it comes to Laurie.
Mm.
So it's like final girl, but with like a lot of assistance.
Yeah,
And even like Jimmy doesn't really do anything.
I kind of makes sense why she might not have
Hmm.
survived into the next movie of this timeline that we're going through the Loomis timeline, the Donald
The
Pleasance.
Halloween Four.
Yes, of it all.
Yeah.
Like it's
But
never. I mean,
that was incidental though. It had nothing to do with we can talk about that when we
we can
cover that
speculate
next
about that
month.
all we want next month.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that said, I mean I have other things like I mean like you're mentioning. Here I'm praising a bunch of things, but one thing that I can criticize is, even though I agree with you in terms of like, and I even doubled down on another moment where I felt the silence against the sound was like perfectly kind of orchestrated. One where it doesn't work for me, it's usually the point where I fall off with the movie is when not Brackett, I always want to call him Brackett, Garrett
Garrett. Mr.
is
Garrett.
he has the cat scare and he's making a way around the dumpster and then he makes his way into the offices and it's just going on and
Mhm.
on and on and on. It's not tense. I'm not sitting with bated breath, even though Michael Myers is around
Mhm.
there. And they tried, I think they knew that for the TV cut, they tried putting in some music and it didn't work. It wasn't the right cue. It was not, it didn't, I was like, this is too fast and too papa for like what this moment is supposed to be. And they
Mhm.
even cut to Dick Warlock in the mask, like making his way down the stairs, which has
It's
no
weird. No,
place in that
there's like a
scene.
profile shot of him walking through a door, which
Yeah,
just feels it's like almost like we're watching the behind the scenes of like what was the In a Violent Nature where we're just following the killer
yeah.
every
Or
step of
Behind
the
the
way. Like
Mask, The
now we're
Rise of
getting
Leslie Vernon, that one
yeah.
too.
No, but like now we're let's meanwhile, here's Michael. He's getting closer and it's like,
Yeah, it's
he's
like,
just
no, we don't.
casually opening a door. He like walks from what I remember, he walks up to a door, stops, opens it, and then
Yeah.
walks through. Very like
Hmm.
robotic like he does. And it feels very weird and out of place, but there's something about it that I love seeing it. I love seeing this like extra footage. It doesn't work in this scene.
I just wish there could have been
Um
like a ding, 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 just to lend a little something to, because we're not really invested. We don't really know this character, the security guard.
Well,
So
I know there's some like footage in the TV cut where we find out that he's all down on the kids and the dope.
yeah,
Uh,
which would totally put me on his side.
yeah, he's very much like he's very similar to the cop in Friday the 13th Part Two. Even
Oh,
that's the same death. Like he's hit on the head, the
right,
skull with the end of the hammer.
right.
Um, very much like both those movies came out the same year too.
Hmm.
So just maybe a very weird coincidence. Also, I was gonna say because the Deep Red or the Halloween 2 hot tub kill taken from Deep Red, didn't Friday the 13th Part 2 the spear through the two in the bed that was
Oh,
also taken from Twitch of the Death Nerve,
right.
aka Bay of Blood,
Hmm.
Mario Bava.
Yeah.
So
And the way they shot it, like even more so because they had the back of what's his name, Kaneki. I always want to call him
what
Jack Ottaway.
do you okay? Do you prefer Halloween 2 or Friday the 13th Part 2?
Friday the 13th, part two.
It's it's really hard for me because Friday the 13th Part 2 definitely from like a narrative and character
Yeah.
standpoint, but this movie from tone and atmosphere,
I mean,
100%.
yeah, because this one takes itself more seriously, certainly. Like by Friday the 13th, part two, here it's the second movie in the series, and already we're like kind of like poking fun rather than like establishing tension here and there. Like I think about the moment where, oh shit, what's her name? The one who goes skinny dipping, and you hear dun 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 dun
Terry.
dun dun. It's like, oh, and everybody can laugh, for a minute, just
Yeah.
before we're supposed to be scared because she's, tempting fate, swimming naked and alone in a lake where a dead boy came back, and killed people, but has killed people on screen anyway so far. But it would rather kind of like have fun and release have us drop our guard a little bit before, the next thing is released, basically, or revealed.
I'm gonna ask. I put a poll up in the
Oh,
chat.
nice. But I mean, that's the thing. It's not about like loving one and hating the other, but
No.
I think I do, as many times as I've seen this one, I think I do watch Friday the 13th Part 2 more often and more willingly. And I think while I'm watching it, that's the thing, is I do have moments in this movie where I kind of check out. It's not a deal breaker, but it's just kind of like, okay, we'll just wade through this moment, and then we'll get to the thing I like.
I
But
find
Part
that
2
like
doesn't.
the beginning of the movie is a bit of a slog for me. Like all
Oh,
the stuff with the Pier or Halloween 2, like I love all the stuff of like the Elrods and Alice and all that.
sure.
But when we're like introduced to the hospital people, like there are moments like I love like meeting all these characters, but it really kind of does slow down. And it
Mm,
and it stays slow even like once Michael gets there, and it doesn't really pick up until probably like who gets killed after. It's probably like not until like the scene with Bud and Karen
mm,
in the hot tub. Like I'm still enjoying it, but I know that there really is like a cool down period. And then once
mm.
that happens, it just like really gets going, and like the creepiness factor is really heightened. But there's just like there's a lot there's fun character moments. There's
There are.
Bud especially. I
Oh boy.
love the one of my favorite exchanges is when they first pick up Lori and, hey Jimmy, you know this chick? Yeah, it's Laurie Strode. She goes to school with my little brother Ziggy. Her old man, Strode Realty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Like,
Oh my God. Or I guess I just fuck up all the time. Like every word you say is hell, shit, or damn. If that's what she says, I don't remember. Does she say shit? I don't think she does. But
hell or shit or damn.
that was another thing
That
that was
whole
funny.
that whole
Like,
scene, like he's just firing on all cylinders there. And he's got
oh
like
yeah,
the
oh,
joint in the little, what are they, like the some sort of
rolling paper.
medical tool. No, it's the,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I don't know what I'm talking about.
pliers or something. I don't know.
Whatever.
He's
Yeah,
just,
yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. But and his little song about needing pie. Oh Jesus.
Amazing grace, come sit on my face and
Don't make me
me
cry. I
cry. I
need your
need your
pie.
pie. I mean,
And that's
it's no like, oh Paul,
no. Or
I
I would.
gave you.
Or I wish I had you all alone. It's just not. It's neither one of those. But,
Yeah.
but does anyone sing in Friday the 13th Part 2?
Um.
Can't remember.
Damn.
Not
Now
that I
I
can
you're really gonna have
remember.
me. Well, is his name Jeff? He's like playing the harmonica.
That's true, but nobody sings along with it.
Uh,
I don't think anybody sings. So, okay, that's something this movie
and
has.
then Russell Todd's character Scott is like dancing with
Dancing with the
Muffin,
dog,
but
but
they're not
he's
singing.
monologuing. He's
Yeah.
monologuing.
Um, does anyone sing there? Does anyone sing in the first movie?
Um, sure.
I don't know.
I
We're
don't
taking
know.
this segue into. Oh well, I'm sure one of the girls does.
See, now you're making we're getting
We're
derailed. I
we're
didn't mean to
we're,
derail
we're
the whole
talking about
podcast.
Halloween 2 here, and we're going all the way into the
Well,
Friday
you
the
started
13th
comparing Friday the
franchise.
13th and Halloween too, so I'm like, okay, well, oh, anyway,
Yeah,
okay. But no, I think it's interesting because I think for me the strongest points are the entryway because I love the interpersonal. I love getting to know these characters, which is another thing that really I think is to this movie's credit. It's not like I love anyone as much as I love Annie and Linda in the first movie, but
yeah,
I'm not bored watching them interact. Even in the TV version, when I'm seeing all the excess, there are so many exchanges between these characters that are not rooted in propelling the film forward. It's just kind of them comparing notes, which again feeds into the soap opera of it all. So I'm just kind of like, okay, cool, I'll watch this. I'm interested in finding out how you feel about this and how you feel about that, how you discover the news about this and how you decide to break the news about that. Like that's all fine, and that's a hard thing. It's just to kind of again to carry the torch over and just get me to be invested on a level that's comparable to the first movie, which also like it doesn't always like it's not like a jetpack propelling forward inordinately. It takes its time sometimes to just let you settle into the mood, and those are two things that this movie has in common with its predecessor, with the original, that I appreciate. So
Yeah.
yeah, I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah. I also think that as a trilogy of one,
Mm.
two, and H2O, just like the Laurie trilogy, if you will, let's
Yeah, yeah,
exclude
yeah,
Resurrection
yeah.
for a minute. It's just
Happily.
like a pretty solid uh like cinematic experience just
Mm-hmm.
of those three movies. I
Yeah.
think that, it's almost like akin to the Nancy trilogy of the nightmares of just
Mm.
like going from original Dream Warriors, New Nightmare.
Yeah, but do I cry in H2O? I don't think I do.
Maybe of laughter.
Because I know I don't cry in like the first two Halloween movies. In H2O, I
Yeah.
mean, I don't cry, but I am invested in that mother-son dynamic in that movie and invested in her
What do
character. And
you
it,
think you can do? Just
yes.
wander around the Haddonfield Memorial Hospital?
But I prefer like the Nightmare on Elm Street saga just
Yeah,
as a whole.
that's
So,
just, I know
yeah.
you appreciate the holes, but
I mean,
I
can't argue
mean,
with that.
the yeah, I mean, I don't. This movie is like, I wouldn't say that I like it's fallen in my estimation of it
Oh.
or anything, but I know that like from the time that I first saw it ever, it doesn't hold the same magic for me.
Mm.
And I think that part of that reason, like why I loved it so much, is that, like I was telling with the story, like the first Halloween movie I ever saw was Curse of Michael Myers. And then I saw the original, and I just assumed that Halloween 6 was the first true sequel. And then it was like, oh wait, it's a Halloween 4, but this is clearly taking place before that. And I don't even
Right.
think I'd found Halloween 5 for a long time. So I was just like slowly trying to piece everything together. Like
Mm.
H2O had just come out in the theaters, so of like the first seven movies, it was just like, okay, where are we? Um, it's my Dr. Loomis, like in the cemetery. But like, no, I was just like, where are we? And when I finally found Halloween 2, it was so shocking to me because I didn't realize that that was Halloween 2 and that it like picked up exactly where
Yeah.
Halloween 1 left off. So in a way it was almost like I was watching this continuation of a movie that I never knew existed, never knew I needed,
Mm.
and there was something so mystical about that.
Mm.
That I loved it, and I almost like I think at one point I'm like I even loved Halloween 2 more than the original. But it's
Mm.
like I don't feel that way now. But I know that for a lot of people, especially once 2018 came out, people were like really like down on this movie, and like
Right.
especially for the fact that there's the revelation of the sibling twist. But
Right.
it's just like it was always a movie that everyone really loved, and then suddenly people started to hate on it.
I feel like it's zigzagged because while I was coming up, I remember even when I inquired to my parents and to certain friends about it as a teen, I think a lot of people were soured on it then, and then it kind of like swung in the other direction once we had accumulated more Halloween sequels, and people started to realize this is actually among the stronger of them. And then I think right around to the time of like when Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 came out and people were praising it for homaging, at least in the first, what, like half hour or 40 minutes or so,
Mm.
this film. And uh Yeah, I don't know. As far as I know, like, I feel like I've experienced it on both sides, where the general public, at least as far as my sensory apparatus can absorb, is on one side of the fence, and they're on the other side of the fence. And maybe that's just the way it is with some movies, particularly when they
Yeah.
keep making sequels, remakes, requels, like the more you mine the thing, the more perspective I think, and the more your perspective can shift about like not just the original, but the things that followed, and your rankings can shift. But that's another thing because I'm
Yeah.
glad that you brought up uh, not experiencing the same magic as you did initially on subsequent viewings. Because for me, it's not so much that, it's just like appreciating different things about it than the first one. The older I get, the more my appreciation for the first movie kind of develops. Like I loved it just as an experience as a child, and then as I grew older and have learned to learn more things about filmmaking and how hard it is to nail something stylistically,
Yeah.
symphonically, with casting, with editing. And how many things that first movie gets right. That's what makes me appreciate that movie more and more as the years go on. Whereas with this one, I think it's the knowing the story about how difficult it was, how many things they came up against, how many people weren't enthusiastic about making it. It's kind of a miracle
Mhm.
that I can have as much joy with it as I do. And I think I that's what I lean into more so. It's more
Yeah.
maybe it's more nostalgia based, but it's still there, my enjoyment
Yeah.
with this
No,
film.
and
So
I'm starting to feel that way about Friday the 13th, the original.
mm,
Because there's things that are just like, I don't know. I mean, even though that's not like a great feat in filmmaking, I don't think that like
hmm
Sean Cunningham was like he was more of a producer
sure.
than a director, but there's still the things about it that I appreciate that I feel are lacking in the later movies, even though the later movies are flashier. And
Mm.
yes, Amethyst, I did see H2O before Halloween 2. So I was always confused when Lori said that she had watched Michael Byrne because I was like, when? Where? What did I miss? Um, King Kong, unpopular opinion, but Halloween 3 is the best to me. I wish they kept the anthology idea going. Grant says 3 is up there for me, not quite best, but high up. I think I like Halloween 3 better than Halloween 2.
It's so apples and oranges because
Yeah.
like let me sit through Halloween 3 again and I'll get back to you. But I will say
Hmm.
because also this movie so incredibly depends on the first movie to exist. I wonder what it would be like to have no exposure to the first Halloween and just walk into this movie. Would you have any idea what's going on? And I guess you would because it's kind of
Hmm.
laid out for you, but would it be successful unless it's like the ongoing chapter, the next chapter in a
Yeah.
book of the night? I do have to say, you and I have discussed that many times on and off pod, the anthology idea, like what kind of world would it have been like if Halloween existed in and of itself and then Halloween 2 was The Fog? Just name that movie, have
Yeah.
everything take place on Halloween night, just recontextualize it that way, and that's Halloween 2, then Halloween 3, Season of the Witch. Would people have been more receptive to an anthology franchise or
Yeah.
saga if that were the case? And I think they might have been.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a universe that we don't live in that'll never know if it
Yeah.
was better or not. But I mean, I don't hate that we have the Halloween franchise of
No.
Michael Myers. I mean, more so the first seven. After that, I kind of check out.
Yeah.
But um, like initially, the Halloween franchise, not what it's kind of become. I am excited for the game. Um,
Right.
and I know that the game is just taking place on in 1978. So I don't know if that means that it's
Ooh.
just covering the first movie or if it's covering 1978. Does that mean that it's covering like are there going to be arenas? Like, are we going to get Haddonfield Memorial Hospital as a playable arena? Because I
Ooh.
think that that is a must in the game, as like just being one of the creepiest places in the franchise. But
I
there's
also
so many
wonder,
possibilities
is
with
like
that game.
is the cop Frank from like the David Gordon Greeniverse?
Yeah.
Is he going to be like a character that you can kind of
Jesus
like?
Christ, Frank!
It would be cool if they could find a way to kind of like allow all of the
I
universes
don't
to exist
want
in one night.
any. I don't want any of that shit in this polluting this game.
But that's one of the
Fine.
strongest things for me about that subsequent
The
trilogy
kill the
is the
yes, the
flashback.
prequel the yes, the flashback in
Yeah,
Kills
to the
is
same
is
Halloween night.
fantastic.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. I love
period.
the I don't love the gay couple in the renovated house and all that bullshit. But the
I still don't know
please
how
don't
I
interpret
feel.
that as meaning I don't like the gays.
I mean, we're two of them sitting right here,
But that's
but
I mean, but you can also just like be a self-hating
yeah,
gay.
that's true.
But
Yeah,
the
but
but
no, that's not the case.
no, I just like the movies or the. But
Mhm.
I love the house. I love that they were like had the mindfulness to just be like, what would this house be today? And like, yeah, it was totally
Mhm.
flipped and turned into this whole thing. I hate that we found out that it was demolished in ends. But I love that it makes an appearance in this film. Just to have everyone throwing their
Yes.
like, tear it down, get it out
Their
of here.
tribalism, yes. One
Yeah.
of their own has
The
been
the
slain.
tr- the tribe. One of the number was butchered. It's awake.
Yeah, I knew.
Heightens my sense of security.
Yeah. Oh, and Donald Pleasance again. Just we
Yeah.
because we kind of catty corner like described him and everything, but I
Well,
just have to say like the way he delivers in this movie too with his
yeah.
performance, it's so on par with everything we got in the first movie. So couldn't be
Hmm.
happier with that. And I love the way he's
Yeah.
written. I agree with you. I do love the fact that he's like kind of at his wit's end and
Yeah.
slowly really starting to lose
Yeah.
it and give way to desperation and
Yeah.
chaos.
Well, I think that well, there's Des signaling
Yeah.
us to get to the cherry picker.
It's not like we kill people on purpose.
Okay, we
Do-
need a cherry on top. And I think that you already kind of expressed this before we moved over, but I'm gonna say Dr. Loomis.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Every time he's on screen, it just makes the film. Watching him learn the new stuff and watching then the second he gets the information from Marion, he's just like, oh, now I've got it.
Jesus, don't you see what's happening? And he's just so
And,
quick.
and then
Jesus, don't
he's
you see what's happening?
and then he says my favorite line that I opened the episode with. He's just like, what do you do? Warning shot? Yeah, here we
What is it you fellas
go.
usually do? Fire warning. And it's like everyone in that car has their eardrums have been blown out now. Um,
Yes.
I would say if if there was like a strong contender,
Yeah.
Marion,
Yeah.
because whenever I think of this movie, I always think of her.
Mm,
And this is like of like all the movies that she's appeared in. I think this
yeah.
was like her biggest role to date.
Yeah, I love the payoff with her in H2O though. Kills can go fuck itself.
Oh my God.
But with no
Ugh.
in this movie, I always go to just like again the whisper. I've already said it, but I'll say it again. Just like that girl, that Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister, and then my big
That
ass.
girl, the Strode girl, that's Michael Myers' sister.
Oh,
Didn't you fucking pay attention?
don't you see? He's coming back to kill the sister that he left behind with the thing and the thing and the thing. I'm gonna. That's what he says.
Dr. Loomis, I need to talk to you privately.
Oh, I didn't recognize you. Oh, it's you. I didn't recognize you.
What do you fucking need, LASIK or something? Get your ass out in the hall. We got shit to talk about.
Rude doll.
Rude fucking dog.
Yeah, right. He could say that. Rude,
Rude fucking nurse.
What a rude fucking nurse. And then he just goes on outside anyway. Okay. Yeah. So Loomis is cherry on top.
Loomis gets the cherry on top. Last week, we asked you who deserves to die the most in Halloween 1978. I nominated Dr. Terrence Wynn. You nominated Richie Castle.
That's right.
Based on votes from Patreon, Instagram, and YouTube. The final tally was 433 for Dr. Terrence Wynn and 203 for Richie Castle.
Oh, thanks for showing up, guys.
Yeah, thank you
Yeah.
for choosing correctly.
Oh, dear God.
Everything Weather, Richie, easily. Thomas Baker, Richie. Jazzy Boo. I don't know why, but I usually pick the doctors. I guess because I assume they're usually going to be asshats or douche waffles.
Douche waffles.
Molly Lolly. Well, in this movie alone, Richie easily, if we are looking at the franchise as a whole, definitely Dr. Wynn. The man taught Michael how to drive and was in the cult. Nuff said. Amethyst Frost. Since the neighbor who turned off the porch light when Lori was screaming for help isn't an option.
Oh.
Down with children.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy was an asshole.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that. But I mean, he's not on, oh, we don't even know if it's a he, but whoever it is, they're not,
Yeah.
are they on screen? Would they have counted?
I don't know. We have to look at the rules again for something like that. And
Yeah,
there's
I don't know.
yeah. Mad Apple, Richie, nothing destroys Halloween spirit like a crushed pumpkin. Robert Holston, the guy that played Dr. Wynn in Curse of Michael Myers, was also in Liar Liar. Fun
Yeah.
fact.
He played Burke Devlin in Dark Shadows, the original run, too. I love him.
Galford's dog. Everyone who picked a kid has to live with yourselves.
I mean, it's not like we kill people on purpose.
Purpose.
Not really. We're not talking about killing actual children, guys. Take it easy.
Grant Dempsey. In that photo, Richie isn't looking up at the shape. He's looking up at Tree's mom hanging from a tree. That's all. That's the world that Eddie wants. And in that world, we're all definitely going to need some therapy. But the wait for appointments is going to be a little bit longer because I'm heading back into my voting for therapist habit here and giving it a vote to Dr. Wynn.
We should all probably be in therapy anyway, but go on.
You're the Tree's mom nomination is never gonna escape you.
I love that. I happily own my Tree's mom nomination.
Sean Prinsick, truly the best Halloween. The doctor deserves to die for doing a terrible job and getting people killed. Richie is pretty awful too.
Okay.
Welshman, why can't people just do stuff for the meme? Pick the child to die so we can see Eddie's reaction. Pick the child if you want to live. I'm gonna let you live.
Give me the boy and I'll let you live. Yeah, that one.
B. Spencer. I don't know if that's like B. Spencer, like Brad Spencer, or like B. Spencer, like B.
B. Spencer.
B. Spencer.
Who should I be? B. Spencer. Yeah.
Gotta go with Richie. I hate the bullying kid characters in movies, and it's so sad when you see Tommy's pumpkin smashed on the ground. Wynn might be worse overall if we take into account his role in Halloween 6. But based on just this film, I have to say Richie.
Nice.
Van Days. Actually, the guy that plays Dr. Terrence Wynn, Robert Phelan, in this movie was a total babe, so I could never vote for him to die.
He was a babe, huh? I didn't notice.
Babe.
I gotta watch the movie again. Poor me.
Maybe it was the mustache, you know.
Maybe got a stash thing, huh? Maybe.
Jaboni. Richie. If for no other reason than he's old enough to know when he's being an absolute little shit.
Nice.
He's the kind of cerebral bully that makes other dumb kids like Lonnie do his dirty work. Look, Michael, you don't have to kill him. Just give him a good slap and we'll call it even.
I'll take that. I'd love to watch Michael slap a child. Fictitious.
Kellen,
Yes.
Richie, if Trick or Treat taught me anything, it's that you can't be smashing pumpkins on Halloween. Also, Eddie, to back up your story about your film savant friend not liking this film, I'm a filmmaker slash student, and let me tell you, a lot of my peers and classmates don't understand why this film is so highly regarded. I swear, modern day film students are all Tara from Five Cream, and all they talk about is A24 and Jordan Peele.
I mean, which I love as well, but there's room for everything, folks.
Joshua Zaja, or is it Zaja?
Okay.
If we kill Dr. Wynn in 78, we won't have to suffer through the shit emoji show they gave us in part 6. It's a win. And win is spelled W-I-N-N.
Like winning. But
Win.
no, I can't
Win.
get on board with that. I can't get on board with that. I'm too much of a fan of Curse, so.
Curses, we'll talk
It
about
has
Curse.
its place. It has its place.
I get first dibs here.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for Pamela Strode. That's her first name.
Ooh.
AKA Lori's mother, and it still falls within the rules, even though it's a dream sequence. This woman's a total bitch. I'm not your mother. You adopted her. You signed the papers. You are taking on a responsibility of raising a child, and you're gonna say to this child while you're hanging up laundry, like, not your mother. How many times do I have to tell you? I don't know why I'm still Chucky. How many times do I have to tell you I'm not your mother? She says to her. Like, so this isn't just it's not like she was just having a bad day and it's just like, like Lori wet the bed and she was like, had to clean the sheets and yeah, I don't know why my mind went there. And she was just frustrated with her and just like, I'm not your mother. No, she says this is something that she said to her a lot, if memory serves. So she's just been inveterately an asshole to Lori this whole time. And then in the present day, 1978, she's at one of those like infamous key exchange swinger parties where it's just like she doesn't even have the mindfulness to check in on her daughter. Like, that's the thing. Like, the entire town of Haddonfield has been put on alert of what is going on, and the mom isn't even like trying to get a hold of Lori just to be like, hey, I heard some stuff is happening. I just wanted to check if you're okay.
No, she's in
Doesn't
the
even,
back
like,
seat of her neighbor. Yeah.
No. Yeah. She's just not. They don't even care. They're not even showing up at the hospital. And maybe if they did, they would have gotten killed. But like nothing. There's nothing. Not even going to the police. So what?
I just thought of something I never thought of before that I kind of hope is going to be my headcanon for the first movie now. What if the swinger party was going on at the house where Lori was screaming at the door and her mother was behind the door with the neighbor getting it on, and she was like, shit, that's my daughter, turn out the lights. Somehow Lori is screaming her head off for someone to help her. Her mother turns her back on her, literally locks the door on her so she can continue getting it on.
Just continue the secret affair. I think it's more likely that they were at they were at the country club, according to
Right.
Yeah,
There's
but
gotta be
but
rooms
maybe they
there.
were at the Stevie Mathis's party where they were pinning the tail on the donkey and dunking for apples in water. Nonetheless, I rest my case.
Okay, well, I love how much of that was your own headcanon being made canon. But I think I do the same thing. But okay, mine is Dr. Mixter. Because he was, I know everybody's going to be like, there's going to be people who are like, how did Bud, get out alive? I think he
What's
got
wrong with Bud? Bud's great.
I think he got exactly what he deserved, too.
He's a delight.
You would not. Would you want a coworker like Bud? Punch in and there's a Bud there waiting to work with you. I think he's kind of annoying. But and he sexually harasses, what's her name? Janet? Is that her name?
Janet.
The one who can't work the
Karen?
walkie-talkie. The one who can't work the walkie-talkie, she's sitting there, she's like, I saw Michael Myers the other day. The one who every other word you say is hell, shit, or damn, or whatever.
He sexually harasses her?
Well, because he starts singing about like pie and sit on my face and all that.
I think that was just no, because she was gone out of the room. It wasn't until because Karen came
then
in.
it's just her. Maybe it's not sexual. Maybe it's just harassment because she doesn't like the fact that he curses, and you shouldn't be cursing in your.
I don't think he was harassed. He was just being
It
sardonic.
can qualify as harassment if somebody tells you that you're using language that they're not comfortable with, and you go on.
Sorry, I guess I just fuck up all the time.
Yeah, right.
Edward.
Anyway,
like just pump the brakes a little. Like, you're reaching here.
But no, Bud's not even the one I'm choosing. I'm choosing Dr.
I
Mixter
know
because of the lack of professionalism. Because okay, number one, if you're on call, what the fuck are you doing going to the fucking country club party and drinking your ass off? Someone is certainly going to be injured on Halloween night of any night, and then you show up to your place of business inebriated and perform a procedure on this teenage girl, which we won't even take into account like the TV movie because that's not canon, but just in terms of what we're exposed to, the fact that he can barely like make his way over to her and get a sentence out that's like an actual diagnosis that she can rely on that is actually going to help her. He took an oath, and at the top of that oath it's like, first do no harm. And here he's like, God knows what kind of job he did on her arm, if there's going to be a scar, if he made it worse. They even said that he didn't want to put a cast on it tonight, so he's going to wait for it until the morning. And I'm like, what if she rolls on her side? She could completely re-crack the bone or whatever. Thank God it's not a break. It is just a crack, but still, like, I would 100% not want to be in Laurie Strode's place or in the place of the kid who ate we didn't even talk about that, but the kid who ate the razor, who's basically the whole birth of the cherry picker. That was the first pull.
We'll just talk about that after.
Okay, that was the first pull we ever did. Just putting that, and then we'll tell the story. Yeah. But no, so this guy, I mean, completely unprofessional. Could even, like, there's like, what is it, the county hospital or wherever where the ambulance is taking Laurie to at the end of the movie. Like, why couldn't they just move her somewhere where somebody, this is the thing, the fact that he did it anyway is just completely irresponsible and disrespectful of the people who you're working with, the people that you're serving, of the institution that you're working under. He has no respect for himself or for other people, and for that reason I think he absolutely deserved to die on screen at that. I think kill the motherfucker who people could have died at his hand that night, and a lot of people did. So there you go. And a lot of people looked for him. He was a figure of authority and he was of no help. Dude, come on, bring it. Do better, Dr. Mixer, period.
So when we were doing the old podcast, old podcast, because we were covering the Halloween movies pretty early, and the scene where what is the name of the kid?
I don't even know. Amethyst, do you know?
Yeah. Amethyst will know.
Let me see if I can look it up.
It wasn't the poll. So Amethyst is saying the first poll was actually Halloween 4. Are you Team Kelly or Team Rachel?
How did that precede this one? But anyway, okay, go on.
I don't know, but whatever the case may be.
Okay.
You and I had I guess we were under the misconception that it was like a blood bubble.
I thought blood bubble. Yeah.
I thought blood bubble too in this kid's mouth when we first see him, because it's just, keep in mind, like, the 4K wasn't out at this point.
No, this was,
I think 1080 was the highest quality.
Yeah, lower resolution Blu-ray too. Yeah.
And this was 5 years ago. I mean, I have the box set, the Scream Factory one, so that wasn't low resolution Blu-ray.
Mine was. I was watching the 30th anniversary one, which was a low resolution. So
But still, like, from like the first time that I ever seen the movie up until that point, like, I had always just seen a blood bubble. like just like the saliva in his mouth with like the blood, like he had cut himself. That was understood. But someone was like, no, that's a razor blade
Well, because we
in
also
there.
had an argument that it could have been an
Yeah.
ice cube, that like he was like that he was
It was like
bleeding.
an old fashioned,
Yeah,
yeah.
like yeah,
Yeah.
old fashioned from the
Like a big
freezer.
king cube.
Yeah,
Yeah.
break it apart yourself in your little tray, kind of like ice cube, and that's what
Yeah.
she was checking. I think that's what the argument was. Was it a blood bubble? Was it an ice cube, or
Yeah.
was it a razor?
Little Gary is the kid's name. That actor also played
Okay.
Adrian Barbeau's son in The Fog. He wants a stomach pounder and a can of Coke or
Yeah.
whatever that line means if we ever cover that movie. The Yeah, and people are like, that's a razor blade. And I went and looked back at it with like knowing that, and like, oh my God, it is. And now seeing it in 4K, it's like it's unmistakable.
Yeah,
But that was
reflecting
like
the
a
light.
question.
Yeah.
That was the question we were asking, like, what is that in his mouth?
Hmm.
Which then begat the poll, which eventually turned into, and they initially like on that, like they weren't even like who deserves to die the most. I don't think we did that until we got to
No.
the Friday the 13th. It was just like always like random
Yeah.
questions,
Yeah.
and they always changed.
Like for
So
Halloween
anyway,
4, it was, are you team Kelly or team
yeah,
the other one? What
Rachel, yeah,
Amethyst said it. Yeah, team Rachel, you're right.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was
But
fun.
but anyway, so your options are for
Oh,
this cherry picker.
for Halloween
Getting back to it,
2018, it was, would you rather have peanut butter on your penis or in your banh mi
your banh mi
sandwich?
sandwich. Yeah,
That was a
yeah.
good one. Yeah.
Peanut butter on your penis or on your banh mi sandwich.
Because it's in both
Any,
places in that movie.
there's a lot of someone really liked peanut butter in that movie. Anyhow, your options are Mrs. Pamela Strode or Dr. Frederick Mixter. Now you can go and you can vote for that. Firstly on Patreon. So once again, head over to Patreon and support there. The poll is open to the public, so even if you are just a free supporter, you can go. But if you are a free supporter, please upgrade, give a little bit back, and we greatly appreciate it. And it keeps the engine running,
Mhm.
as I said previously. You can vote on Instagram. That's at the Cherry Picker Pod. Follow us. And you can also vote on YouTube. Subscribe to us there. And these polls show up every week. Also, if you want to listen to us instead of watching us, the RSS feed link is in the descriptions down below. I've put the poll in the live chat here too, and it
Ooh.
looks like right now we're at 80% Mrs. Strode. That's
Ooh.
not necessarily an indication of things to come, but also, by the way, Halloween 2 was the more preferred of the two, uh, not the second entries between that and Friday the 13th with
Yeah.
85%.
Wow.
So
That
just
doesn't
just
surprise me
just
though.
just to put a cap on that mystery.
Hmm.
But yes, Edward, where can they follow you on the socials?
You can go to Letterboxd, or you can go to Instagram. Edward is truth, one word. No spaces. Traditional spelling. What about you, Zach
You can find my main YouTube channel, Zack Cherry, ZACK space CHERRY. Instagram and Letterboxd are both retro bitch face, all one word. Twitter, Zack Cherry 8. And we know what's going on next week. We already said it at the beginning, but once again, that will be Urban Legends Final Cut.
Yeah.
So that'll be next week, and then we've got 2 weeks off, and after that we will be back for which Halloween sequel is it we're doing next?
Four.
Oh, yeah, very good.
Four. Is that one
Anyhow,
that's the what? The Return of Michael Myers?
a filling station up in flames.
Yes.
God, I just spat on my computer.
Hope it was worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening, and we will be right back.